How long have you been a chef again?
I've been cooking for about probably 20 years, 22 years.
So this is Wine and Earth. We're based in Guildford in Surrey, and we're a small independent wine merchant focusing on quality wines and sustainability. A non-alcoholic for James to try. So this is Laurent Truffaut's Muscat d'Alexandre.
Delicious recipe. I quite like it really sharp. I remember this from...
It's a non-alcoholic sparkling wine produced just in France.
So Luke, pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Thanks for hosting this today.
Very welcome.
We've got a really exciting day with the team coming down for a full wine tasting with you and your team. I think for us it's a pleasure that we've found a partnership with somebody and a business that truly knows their stuff.
Absolutely.
So, you know, it's going to be a good day for us.
Definitely. Yeah, no, it's a pleasure to have you here. Obviously in our warehouse as well. So this is where we store all of the produce that we bring in from overseas. And it's an absolute pleasure to be sat here talking to you. And we're looking forward to the staff training later as well.
Yeah, it should be really good. I think it's going to be insightful for the team. Yeah. There's a lot of novices amongst the guys. Yeah. So, yeah, I think any insights that you can give them and then the support, which you've been brilliant up until now with helping us find the right product for our clients.
Completely. No, it's we treat every single tasting and every single training like an opportunity to really chat about what we feel is why we're here.
Yeah.
Chat about our own personal experiences with the wines as well, and chat on behalf of the producers that we bring on board. We recognise that a lot of people across the world who produce wine in all of these fantastic countries and regions don't have the means to traverse or get across what they really feel and why they're passionate about the produce that they supply to us.
Yeah.
So it's a really great opportunity for us to sit down, chat through a couple of the wines that I've got here for pairing with this fantastic dish in a second.
Yep.
And then chat a little bit more about us as a business and why, like you said, it's such a valuable partnership, and we're really excited to work alongside you as well. So we are really focused on two key things, that's quality and sustainability. They're the core of our ethics here at Wine and Earth, and it's what really drives our motivation to continue building our portfolio, to continue expanding who we work with, why we work with the people, focusing in a world where sustainability is really at the forefront of what we need to be doing for the future.
Yeah.
Wine is such an incredible area in that there's a lot of misconception that wine needs intervention, needs human intervention to make it proper, to make it high quality. And so we're really all about breaking that barrier, breaking that stereotype that wine needs to go through filtering and fining. It needs to be produced with spraying, and with all the other chemicals that go inside it. It doesn't. It's a fantastically natural produce. And back in the day when they were producing wine, when it first started, they didn't have any of the chemicals. And I'm sure it tasted just as good.
So you're really championing the kind of the organic approach.
And that's the idea. We focus in three key categories. So we focus on vegan production, organic production, and biodynamic production as well.
Yep.
We've got roughly, I think, 40 to 60% of our portfolio is certified wine production that is either vegan, organic, or biodynamic.
Okay.
And the rest of it is not necessarily certified, but practicing vegan, organic, and biodynamic.
Fine.
And what that means is it's a having a certification behind your production methods that are sustainable really helps make you and the wines that you produce a pioneer in your region. We've got some fantastic wines from Burgundy, from Bordeaux, from Rioja, all the way spanning over to sort of Georgia and New Zealand and Australia.
Wow.
And a big part of that portfolio diversity comes with it's got to be sustainable. It's one of our credentials that we have to abide by when bringing in wine. Otherwise, we're not who we are, essentially. And being certified if these estates come to us and they're keen to be working with us, being certified is already a massive tick. It ensures us that they've not only taken the best practices to themselves to produce the wine sustainably, but also they're a leader within their region. They've gone to the governing board of the region and said, look, we're sustainable. We do this biodynamic or organic farming, and we'd love to have this on our labels and really preach about it.
Amazing.
And that's what we really, really love. So we've got 2 wines here. One for you, which is a non-alcoholic sparkling from France. And then one of our local ones that I thought would go excellently with this tart, which is actually a mead, so not necessarily a wine, but produced in the style of a dry classic wine, just with a little bit of sort of honeyed notes. And so I'll chat about those in a second.
And those 40% that aren't certified, that are a part of your supply chain, are they practicing but aren't big enough to be able to certify themselves because of red tape and due diligence?
So there'll be... all of the wines in this warehouse that you see today are somewhat sustainable.
Yeah.
If they're not certified, like I mentioned, if it's that 40, 30%, whatever it is, they are still committing themselves to sustainability. Okay. The only reason they aren't certified is the majority of people we find is that it costs a huge amount. Sure. It's a barrier that we're trying to break down within the wine industry. Yeah. And we can only sit here and support as people who bring in the wines on behalf of the producers. But it costs a ridiculous amount to become a certified estate. You have to go through tons of paperwork. You have to sort of have loads of regulatory board meetings and everything like that.
Yeah.
So we try to give them as much support as possible. And even if they're not certified in what they produce, we really accept and encourage practicing.
Amazing. And of course, you're B Corp certified.
Yeah, quite right.
Exciting.
Very exciting.
Are you part of that process?
I was on a back burner for that process. I provided some of the information pertaining to our producers and what they do.
Yeah.
B Corp obviously is a fantastic privilege to hold. It comes with a lot of work though.
It does,
It's not a light qualification, if you like. But we have a fantastic team. Dale, our CEO, was working tirelessly throughout it as well. Eden, who's our CCO, works with the majority of our clients, but also works on our core structures and foundation of the business. Yeah. Really was a lead in that as well.
No, well, congratulations. And it's a huge tick.
It's a fantastic thing to go to clients with and to reassure them that what we're doing is legitimate, essentially. And it helps us just promote the product. It encourages businesses to start embarking on their own sustainability journey as well, which is an incredibly important part of why we do this. It's not just for the wine, it's not just for the revenue, it's about building the sustainable wine market in the UK and really pioneering that and becoming leaders in that industry.
That's really nice to hear. Yeah, that's awesome.
Fantastic.
So the team at Calm Kitchen Base this morning baked a fresh lemon tart.
Yeah.
One of our long-standing dishes, been part of the menu for, golly, I would think probably 16, 17 years. And I think it would be a really nice one for you to try. Give you a little bit of a challenge with finding something that can keep up with the intensity of the lemons. Do you need me to clap again?
No, it's fine. It's still one shot.
Okay.
You can clap if you want. I'll stop you doing
It'll be really interesting to see what you paired with it. The lemon tart, when it's executed well, is often based on the quality of the lemons, and sometimes you might need to adjust that out of sort of lemon season. So we should have a really zesty lemon tart, along with the fruitiness and some tanginess from the raspberries, and then the sorbet just brings in a layer of sweetness with the glucose that's in that sorbet. So it should be a really nice paired dish, and hopefully that
that looks fantastic. Well, when we're normally pairing with desserts, a lot of people have a preconception that the only thing that can go with desserts is sweet wine.
Yep.
So we're going to try and break down that conception again. I'm going to introduce you to a non-alcoholic wine today.
Amazing.
One of our newer additions to the portfolio. This is a non-alcoholic Muscat from France, produced by one of our producers called Laurent Truffer. So as opposed to a regular non-alcoholic wine that you might find on your classic supermarket shelf or anything like that, this one is gone through a process of actual production of wine, and then a reverse osmosis to draw out the alcohol.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So really innovative, really high tech, and it's produced with a grape variety called Muscat.
Reflected in the price?
Reflected in the price? No.
No, oh,
no,
really?
No. Okay. Really quite affordable, actually.
Okay.
Another thing to do with the whole sustainability, ethics, quality is we understand that sustainability comes with its prices.
Yeah, okay.
And so what we really do is also try to ensure that it's accessible for everybody.
Absolutely.
So all of the wines in the warehouse, granted, there are a couple that are
fine wines.
Fine wines. But majority of them have exceptionally reasonable price points.
Brilliant.
So yeah, fantastic, really accessible, good price point as well. And this is produced with Muscat, so a more aromatic variety that carries a little bit more sugar as well. So the idea behind this pairing is that the characteristics, very lemon, very floral, a little bit buttery as well, is going to really complement the tart itself. And then that sweetness is also just going to balance out the acidity, hopefully, in the tart. Bring it a little bit
Excited.
A little bit of a cool pairing.
Yeah, very nice.
So I'll pour this out for you, and then I'll chat a little bit about
your mead.
The mead.
Just explain what a mead is, then, if it's not considered to be a wine.
Yeah, so mead is essentially a wine.
Yeah.
So when I say it's not a wine, it is sort of a wine, but produced instead of without grape juice, which carries the sugar. It's produced with honey.
I see. Okay, fine.
So this is produced. The core contents of this wine is honey, yeast, and water.
And that's it.
And that's it.
Wow.
At the core of it. So it's produced in just in Sussex. Really, really local by a couple who run the estate called Danny and Emily.
Amazing.
And they've been working on this for quite a while now, something that they are really passionate about. Both of them used to work in the trade, especially Emily, she used to work as a somm in Michelin.
Branding.
Yeah, great branding.
The honeycomb.
Yeah.
Yeah, really
and they sort of identified this market and really wanted to expand into it.
Yep.
So they set up this, they get in touch, all of the honey comes locally as well.
Okay.
So they work with different places across Sussex and across the UK to source the honey sustainably and locally. Yep. And then they undergo a normal wine process. So fermentation, aging, maturation, bottling, and then sent out to the end
same
client.
sort of time for
very similar time.
Yeah,
very similar time indeed. So really sustainable, really local, and this is their vintage 22. So it's their first wine that actually sort of holds a more winey characteristic.
Amazing, beautiful.
So I'll pour this out for some of you to taste. There we are. So let me know what you think of that. Another issue that we identified with sparkling wine, especially non-alcoholic, is it tends to be really sweet. A characteristic that obviously comes without producing the alcohol. And when you're talking about wine and wine production, alcohol plays a really key part in balancing out all the flavour compounds.
Of course,
much like in food. And so when we are looking for one, we're really focusing on finding something that is not necessarily so sweet, because we understand that people who are interested in non-alcoholic wine commonly come from a background of drinking alcohol. And so they don't necessarily want to taste the product and find that it's really dissimilar. They don't want to ruin that understanding. So I think this one has a really good balance of acidity in it as well. As well as there's a core foundation of sweetness, which is part of the production.
You can really taste the florals. It's quite elderflowery in a way.
Yeah, elderflowery, all the florals, blossom, grapefruit, a little bit of lemon as well.
Yeah, it's nice.
Coming through on the palate.
Nice.
What do you think about it, James?
I think it's really nice. I'd like it over ice, probably, in the summer. But it's got a really nice, mellow, floral, elderflowery, touch of honey. It's kind of, it's just really soft on the palate. It's nice. Yeah, it's all cool.
There we are.
I like that. Yeah,
cool.
Done well there.
And then this is the vintage 22. Just chatted about it. It's the mead.
I love that bottle.
Yeah, it's awesome. Great. Little half bottle.
Really good.
They also produce a regular, what they call the festival wine, which is like a regular, more sweet mead.
Yeah.
Then a glow, which is actually more spiced. A Stargaze, which is a sparkling version of the mead as well, which is super popular in London and places like that. A little bit more leaning towards gastronomic cuisine at that point. And then a Sussex Sunset, which is a oak-aged one as well. So they're messing around with the formula, trying to change it up a little bit.
Find different ways to use it. And a mead would usually be used as an alternative to a dessert wine.
Traditionally for us, but again, it's the trying to break break the normal.
Okay.
So we encourage this not only as a dessert wine or like a pre-dessert wine, but also potentially the sparkling as an aperitif. Some of the more characterful ones, the spiced stuff, to go with a starter or something like that. And we're finding that the somms that we put this in front of are absolutely loving it.
They're loving it
because of what they can do with it in food.
Yeah, brilliant.
Sometimes it goes as a drink on the table. Sometimes it actually goes into dishes as well. So all of the producers here are small batch producers. We're talking about 1 vineyard, 2 vineyard, 3 vineyard estates. They are all majority family owned, heritage driven. We have a producer called Fuedo Montoni. The estate has been in the family since 1468.
It's bonkers, isn't it?
Nuts.
Really special.
Really special. And yeah, it's such an honour and a privilege to be able to bring that to the UK market, to people who understand the wine and enjoy the wine. And it's part of why we're here to do the tasting today as well.
I think that's why we were so excited about meeting you guys for the first time, was the story behind what goes into the fabric of your business.
Absolutely.
And that being the supply chain and the people who are
driving it.
In the vineyards all across Europe and the world. It's truly amazing. We're super excited that this partnership's happening. Tuck into your lemon tart.
Absolutely. It's fantastic. Like you said,
sharpness
the sharpness really coming through there. I can't fault a lemon tart. It's one of my favourite desserts.
No.
So.
I think if I was to change anything, it would just be the pastry needs to be a little bit thinner and a little bit crisper.
There we are.
But the actual lemon tart filling is perfect.
Always constant improvement.
Always.
There's always something to go with it.
There's always constant
Way of restauranting.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Blends really nicely.
Yep.
Yeah.
Great.
Actually just cuts through the sharpness. You need, if it was too acidic, it might be too much.
Yep.
So actually that mellow sweetness is actually quite nice against that rich really
base.
quite tart lemon tart.
Oh yeah. And with the mead, again, not necessarily a contrast pairing. More of a complement pairing.
Yes.
And it works super well. It adds a new dimension, adds a more honeyed characteristic, which complements the lemon, but also is a nice contrast in the sorbet and the raspberries and the strawberries.
Yep.
Just a really fantastic pairing.
You've done well there.
Yeah, I hope so.
Tell us about how do you arrive at Wine and Earth? What's your journey?
It's a long one. So I left school, essentially, and that was the year of COVID.
Oh wow, okay, yeah, unfortunate. Yeah.
So I tried to go straight into university studies. I went up to Nottingham, tried to get involved with it and got through sort of a year and a quarter and decided it really wasn't for me.
What were you studying?
Architecture.
Okay, fine, wow.
Already quite pressing,
Yeah,
but as well as not having any social engagement, not being able to actually learn in person, very much an engaged learner myself, I actually decided just to stop what I was doing and sort of reset. So I came back down here and I started working behind a bar at Beaverbrook in Leatherhead.
Oh, nice, lovely place.
Yeah, it's sensational. Yeah. Growing sort of the bar skills, you automatically start integrating yourself with the wine industry and you start understanding more about drinks, about mixology and about wines and soms. I found it super interesting. From quite a young age, I've been introduced to wine because my father used to be a chef as well.
Okay.
And I've always understood it as quite a traditional, quite a sort of rite of passage for food. And I wanted to explore that when I was working behind the bar. I thought this is a really interesting part of life that I never thought I could potentially investigate. And so moving on from that, I started working as a sommelier at Beaverbrook, started training up under a fantastic som called Giovanni, who worked as the wine director for Annabelle's at 20 years in London.
Oh, wow. Okay.
And he's fantastic, and he opened the door to so many opportunities, to tastings, to tasting some of the finest wine in the world, but also understanding the core functions of wine as well. And I enjoyed it so much that I actually decided to take the step and enroll at Plumpton College, which is where you can actually study wine as a university degree.
Okay.
So I'm currently into the last stages of my final year at Plumpton studying international wine business.
Brilliant.
And unfortunately, studies and being a sommelier don't mix. You can try, and I did try, but it doesn't mix.
Yeah,
so I then left the sommelier scene when I was actually working as a lead som at Sorrel in Dorking, run by Steve Drake, and decided I wanted to move more to the trade. It's where my passion really lies. I enjoy speaking about wine, and I enjoy the engagement behind it, but I wanted to focus on doing more for the wine instead of just being at the forefront and selling it.
I hear that.
So I joined here as a sales rep, working with clients across Guildford, across Surrey, and also Elizabeth in London. And then in January, I moved over, transitioned to the position of wine buyer. Again, more in line with where the business is heading, needing someone who's really understanding of the functions behind bringing in wine to the UK, and also good at tasting wine, hopefully.
Quality control.
Yeah, exactly. And have absolutely thoroughly enjoyed it ever since. You've got a fantastic team here who work round the clock to make things happen. And it's just every day is a new adventure. I get to speak with all these producers, all the people who are really passionate about what I'm also passionate about. So it's quite fulfilling, quite a rewarding part of life that I never knew existed. And hopefully look to take this forward into the future. Continue to build on the experience and meet fantastic people like yourself as well.
You're very kind. What an amazing journey. And happened quite quickly, really.
Relatively quickly for where I'm at the moment.
But I think that's passion's probably pushed.
Yeah, big passion project.
Yeah, indeed. Absolutely. Good for you. Amazing. Luke, it's been a pleasure. It's been great to get to know you a little bit better, and really looking forward to the future and see what it holds. Thanks so much.
Hopefully some good wine. Cheers.
Cheers.